Hi ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Outriders. A quick TLDR for this form, and then we're going to get into the longer form video where we actually go through it step by step with some seasoning of rage and bitterness from playing the Devastator and having too much ego to drop the tier rank. World tier rank, I mean, of course. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. The quick TDLR for this farm is quite simple. This is a very, very early game farm. In fact, this is taking place in the very first area that we actually are summoned to. And essentially, I'm sure you guys know it, but if you guys remember in the story, this is the first captain that you're more or less introduced to, and the game tells you, hey, you can stagger them. Well, essentially, if you guys don't know this already, you can actually kill those captains, and those captains have a chance of dropping purples, as well as blues, depending on your world level. Now, it is very, very important that you actually do die after you're done killing the captain, so he respawns, and that's kind of the nature of farming all of these captains, although this one has a pretty interesting spawn point. But I will warn you, as you guys are seeing in the gameplay, you will have to push through this encounter, killing all the enemies in this area, but as soon as you're done doing that, you will not have to do that anymore unless you fast travel to another destination. So you know how there's like the first city, you'd have to go to the first city, that whole new area, and that would reset this area. But as long as you're staying in this area, every enemy will remain dead, essentially, and all resources remain ungotten, essentially. Now, some side tips. You're going to want to equip a weapon that can melt down a single target as fast as humanly possible. Some classes will have an easier time than others, and of course, lower your world tier to get a good blue, if anything, a good blue weapon just to kind of carry you, and that's kind of what this is meant to do, by the way. This is kind of if you were like me, who was working his way through the campaign and hadn't gotten to a boss that drops a lot of loot, which we just covered on the challenge. Check that out if you so desire. But I didn't get to that point yet, so I needed some, and I was desperate. I was really needing some sort of weapons. So I just came back, did this real quick, got a couple blue weapons. I think I got even one purple, and I was like, cool. And I was ready to rumble. I was able to go and burst through the rest of the game. Now, yes, I could have lowered the tier rank, but I don't know. There's something about that to me that I like the challenge, but I also like to progress. So we're stuck in this loop, I suppose. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. The rest of the video is us doing it, showcasing it live, as well as a little bit of bitterness by me and just frustrations with the Devastator and the way he's not quite panning out in the way I hope he would have. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your day, and here is me showing you, and also a little bit of rage. Forgive me. Anyways. Hi ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Outriders. Today we're going to be showcasing a very, very early game farm. And man, there were a lot of times where I was just kind of like, for whatever reason, the game refuses to drop a shotgun or an assault rifle for me. It's like scouts and snipers, and I'm playing the Devastator. Like, what are we doing? What's happened? It's rough. Okay, it's real rough out here. Anyways. So this is something that everybody has at their disposal really, really early in the game, and it's only made better by you increasing your world tier. So this is something that you can always kind of do. I'll be honest though, once you start getting to the point when you get to a certain point in the story, which I'll not spoil, but there is a boss within a forest area, maybe, and when you get to that point, that is a gold mine of purples and whatnot. But yes, this is a place that you can kind of mess around with if you have a sufficient power enough to kill essentially a captain, which if you're able to progress at all in the story, you probably have sufficient power to do so. Now, also, you can also equip special things, which we'll go over, certain abilities. Again, some characters are going to struggle more than others. I think I'm playing the Devastator, who I think is struggling the hardest. To some extent, I think the Trickster going to be able to smash. I think the Technomancer going to be able to smash. I don't know too much about the Pyromancer, so I'm not sure about that one either. But but I just know the Devastator, man, I thought was going to be killing it, and it's been a nightmare. It's been a walking nightmare. But ladies and gentlemen, you're going to want to make your way to the very first checkpoint in the game. Now, you're able to do this as soon as you get past the point in which we're about to go do. But basically, if you finished more or less the beginning part of the game, or this part of the game, this whole kind of like war zone place, you're basically here. Now, the good news is that you don't need to reset the campaign in order to get to this place. All you need to do is basically fast travel outside of this area. You'll have like a car that takes you to different areas. When you leave an area, it resets that area. So when you come back, everything is reset. All the enemies are now engaged. So now you're going to want to make your way to one of these flagpoles and actually spawn to this location on the map. Right here. This is where we're currently at. So you're going to be right here. You're going to go all the way up here. And then it's really kind of like a straight shot to the next thing. Now, again, equip a decent enough world tier, anything that you can survive on. Now, the way world tiers work is you kind of need to exist in it, get loot from that world tier, and then take that loot. Hopefully you have a lot of it, good, decent armor. You're not just getting one shoes on shoes on shoes. Hopefully you're having enough armor to spread yourself out so that you're actually able to have enough armor for that world tier. And then you go to the next world tier. Unless you don't have it unlocked yet, which can be a thing. Anyways, I digress. But yes, that's essentially the patty cake of Outriders, is you're going to need to go to the next world tier. But the biggest problem is, what if you don't get a weapon that's good to drop at that world tier, and then you're just dying to everything decreasing your world tier? It's kind of... The world tier is a really cool idea, but there's certain things that like are just rough. Like, not even rough, but just like, what do I do? I can do nothing right here. What is that? Maybe it's just the Devastator problems, maybe. Which I probably should equip the one ability that was once the best, and when you're fighting monster like enemies, it becomes the worst. Anyways, frustrations and nonsense aside, also I just want to use this ability because I just got it. I'm not sure if it's good or not. I digress, but yes, hopefully you'll have some weapon that can deal damage. Ideally, you'll have a shotgun, because this captain is going to be, well, kind of a bastard, and that's a good way to kind of quickly make short work of him. Also, the weapons I'm using are also a pretty high world tier, because yes, it's honestly world tier 7, man. It just feels like, why? Why would we do this? Why would we play in this hellhole of a place? Anyways, we're gonna do that. We're gonna quickly lock you down. He becomes a weird black hole, and he doesn't die from it. That seems like a real rough ability. Don't know why. Also, dogs are going apeshit, because of course they are. Why would they not? Why would they not just chill out for a hot minute? God, the shotgun, man. Shotguns are so fun. Unless you fight a boss in which you can't actually shoot the boss at all. In that case, it becomes a horrific nightmare. And even then... My God. Sorry, man. I'm sorry. To be honest, I just died to this silly encounter. And it's just like, man. Because like I'm supposed to be this tank. it's just proving to be a silly, like, but it's weird. Because like right here, like I'm dealing okay damage. Like that's not the problem. Like it's not the problem. Like dealing damage isn't the problem. The thing is that like an enemy will just, I'm just gone. I'm just gone, and I'm like, I'm on world tier 6. What is? It's not even like high level, but Jesus Christ! And I reflect bullets has gotten nerfed. Like that's something pisses me off so much. Is that they're like, oh yeah, by the way, this skill kind of just becomes shit. It becomes like it's capped at a certain point. You can only take in so much damage. I know, isn't that fucked? It is, yeah. Eat shit. Thanks, devs. Love you. Fuck me. The worst. So like right here, there are moments where you're just popping off. You're just like, wow, look at this power. But then there's moments like this where you're like, what do I do? what can I do? It's the better question. Like, also, what the fuck is this? Great, yeah, I can't target the person below me. Great. And then you're trapped. You have nowhere to go. You have nowhere to go. Like, I have all purple gear. Like, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm like, also, yay. I just peeked up for half the second. Guess what? A sniper just threw a bullet right at your face. Yeah, and now you're kind of just stuck. You don't get to play video games. You don't get to have fun. Guess what? Oh, also, no one just chooses to shoot at you. Isn't that fun? Isn't that the best? Also, when you throw it back at them, yeah, it does no damage. Isn't that the best, too? You know, it used to be throwing back their equivalent damage, but it's capped. We didn't mention that at all. Isn't that fun? Nah. Oh, I love you. I hate you. I thought it would get better as I get like more levels and more weapons, but it's only proceeded to like show how shit the Devastator is, and it's rough. And there's a person behind me, and that's not good. See, I'm just sitting here soaking up. Look how much bullets. Look how many bullets are hitting me, but it looks like nothing's there, and then no one actually ends up dying at the end. So what's the effing point? You know? All of the weapons I have are great, but it's the Devastator's abilities that are just the worst. Grin, you're spec'd in a weird way. I have to be spec'd in that way, because if I don't spec that way, I can't deal enough damage. What do you want from me, my dude? Also, listen, Sniper, I'm really just over all of it. All of what you are. Can you just never exist in the first place? Thank you. My one ability that forces me to be on top of an enemy is just, doesn't even do that. Good. Look at all these bullets. Look at all these bullets. Me soaking in these bullets. and then I'm gonna throw it at you. Oh, and for once it actually killed you. I think it's probably because you're a grunt and the game is like, oh yeah, he's a grunt. That ability is sufficient to kill him. Oh, every other class has blighter rounds or some sort of different like damage like round ability. Yeah, your Devastator, you can just suck up bullets, and then you thought it was a good skill, didn't you? It's not. Anyways, I'm peeved. I go ahead and open this door. This is where the farm takes place. So again, worst case scenario, you have to lower your world tier, which you might have to do. But the good news is that now that you've cleared this area out, you don't need to worry about clearing those enemies out anymore. But the thing is that you do need to die up there. Or else you're basically going to go backwards. So yeah, you do need to bite the dust over there. Also, at this point, now that you've cleared out those enemies, you can equip whatever you want, but hopefully you have sufficient damage in any way, like a shotgun that can shred things or something. Yeah, but you do want to not kill everyone. Like right here, I need to be very careful because, yep, I'm real low health, and it's rough, and it's rough. See, like nothing went, like none of the damage went to that person, even though it should have. It's, again, I don't know. The Devastator's abilities, I'm like, what happened? Like, and then there's that, where you're just like, gone. And I'm like, all of my armor is a tier above the armor of level tier 7 or 6. Anyways, that was not what you're supposed to do. I should probably lower my world tier, but I'm a bitch. I'm like, nah, I won't. How about this? How about we suffer here? If you're watching this in the future, I apologize. The goal is to clear the fucking thing. There's a lot of like just nonsense with the Devastator's abilities, I feel like. I probably should have switched a lot of stuff, actually. But I didn't. So I'm going to put Golem on right now. He's doing some weird things. I'll just push him out of that. Now I'm going to suck up a lot of these bullets that people are shooting at me. And even though everybody's just laying into me. And then I'm going to actually go over here and throw the damage back at him, and nothing. None of the bullets went to him. And I know that's not how the bullet reflect works either. I know how the bullet reflect doesn't work on like enemies who shot at you get thrown it back. It's all like, because I've cleared out like all the, like I've let, what do you call it, enemies shoot at me, and then I've thrown it back at the boss in front of me, and that's done the trick. But sometimes it just doesn't work at all, and you're like, why is this? What is happening? What is? This is the worst guide I've ever made in my entire life. But I don't know what to tell you guys. I could cut it out, but this is kind of like just the nonsense struggle that I find myself in as I play the Devastator. I don't. And I could be wrong. I don't think any other class has this problem, because I feel like the other characters' abilities aren't like weirdly capped, whereas the Devastators are like, nah, no, no, I'm sorry, you're fucked. Like, why? So why is this class so nerfed? They're supposed to be the tank, and then again, I feel like the most vulnerable out of everybody. Like right here, we're gonna start to use this ability so that we start pulling in health and have a little bit of sustain, and that should give us enough damage to actually clear him out. So we got a couple blues and one purple, but that's also because we're on world tier 6. So if you're on world tier 5, it's gonna be probably just the blues, which, believe you me, I'm sure you're probably grateful for even that, because when you get to certain places, if you don't have any blue weapons, which, or worse, you have like all blue snipers and like they're bad. Like, even though like you maybe could use them, but they're bad still. Anyways, you will get the thing that says, hey, lower your world tier, but because we're one world tier above 7, or below 7, sorry, we're basically not taking, so if we were at world tier 7, then that would lose us progression on world tier 8, but we're not. We're on world tier 6. So if you are on world tier 9, then go to world tier 8. Go one below, that way you're not losing out on your progression, because if I was on 7, I'd be losing, every time I die on 7, I would lose world tier for that rank, which sucks. It's not good, it's bad. Anyways, also, you could take this as well. Every time you come back to an area, like you reset it, like I said, with the camp, then you can just, every chest basically gets respawned as well. But yeah, we're going to repeat what we just did. We're going to do one of these, smash down the ground, do some damage, shoot them up with this. We're also going to activate Golem now that enemies are starting to see us and shoot us. We're just going to keep laying into them. Also, do you guys notice that your damage just kind of gets ignored at a certain point, and it's not like an ability? I noticed that. It's not good. Anyways, so that was actually not the greatest run. We got 2 blues, even though we are at world tier 6, and of course, if you're at world tier 7, the odds of getting purples are even better. But this is kind of like a poor man's farm, and I say that not because it's not effective, but just that the boss farm that we already covered here on the channel, which you should go check out if you haven't seen that one, is a lot more reasonable than this, at least for character-wise. I think like certain characters that really man, I don't know. I just think a lot of the other characters seem like they have a, like, I could see where, oh, that ability is good almost all the time, like Trickster having his turrets, or sorry, Technomancer having his turrets, Trickster having his slow bubble, and etc. And for me, I just noticed that it's, like, a lot of the Devastator's abilities are just kind of like the same, and they just do the same thing. It's all like just weird variants of damage and shit, without any really great perk, you know? Anyways, so we're gonna go ahead and smack him down again. Again, we're gonna use your abilities in tandem. That's the only other advice I could really give you, is to make sure whenever you use you're using the abilities that will best take down the captain. But like I said, like you guys might have seen in the beginning, what do you call it? It was a little sketchy. Now I'm gonna let this tremor run out so that I don't accidentally kill his enemies above there. Alright, now let's go run over here and die. Let's also collect our loot, which was a couple blues. Not bad. Again, not bad if you're when you're like just starting out. Like, I had to do this farm just to be able to progress. And again, a lot of you guys could be like, Grin, just turn down your world level. But I'm like, but I know it's important. Like, in order to get enough here to progress, you need to get here. You need to, like, absorb this in order to get to the next thing. And maybe it's better to just do that when you get to level 30. Probably. Actually, that makes a lot more sense. I probably should just play at the lowest possible world tier, get to tier 30, and then just have a nice clean run through it. I digress, ladies and gentlemen. That is basically how you do it. It's a quick farm, and the good news is after you're done pushing through that first area, it's just a quick shot right to it, and you can do it super early game. This is the first level in which that enemy constantly responds. The only thing to take note of, you want to die after you kill the elite by his minions. So try not to kill all of his minions. You do have a good bit of wiggle room, but yeah, I just try to be super careful and only kill him, which is probably making it harder for the run. But yes, you can. The point is that after you're done killing him, you let them kill you, so it resets the encounter and resets his spawn, but you also get all the loot that he dropped, which is really good. Also, any sort of high damage weapon, again, the automatic shotguns are just like everybody's favorite kind of weapon at this point, even though sometimes it looks like their bullets don't even like connect, which is weird. I don't know. Anyways, there's a lot of stuff in this game where I'm like, I want to make a video just on the Devastator and like just like me over it, like, just because I don't know. I mean, it could just be the fact that like I'm not at level 30 yet, but I look at his skills and nothing says like this is it. This is gonna make it all different. I don't know. I digress, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you do enjoy the rest of your day. Subscribe buttons to my right, 2 videos further that way. Thank you again, and goodbye.